1 ball, 1 strike, nobody on, 2 down. What a night here for this young left-hander. He needs 1 out. He's winding. He delivers. Swinging, hit him on the fist, popped up. Oliver coming on, Tavares out, Oliver there! No hitter! No hitter! No hitter!
John Candelaria, the Candyman, a name that once meant glory, a name that came to mean conflict. You know him from the title, a man who seemed to hate. But was he the villain, or was baseball the villain to him? That sweet nickname, the Candyman, hides a darker truth. One writer called him a royal pain in the butt, and he was. He was an all-star. He was a World Series champion. He threw a no-hitter. But somewhere along the way, this hero became something else. A man defined by turmoil. A man who burned bridges. A man at war with everyone around him. How does that happen? How does a champion become the enemy? Let's go back to the beginning. John Candelaria was born in Brooklyn in 1953. His father saw the talent early. When Candelaria was just 5 years old, his father told the family, "This kid really has it." At La Salle Academy in Manhattan, Candelaria was a basketball legend. He was a dominant center. He led his team to a championship in 1971. He finished second in school history in rebounding, second only to a guy named Lou Alcindor. You might know him better as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Candelaria was that good. He was selected to play for Puerto Rico in the 1972 Olympics. But Candelaria made a choice. He chose baseball. Why? Simple. He could be in the major leagues before he would even graduate college as a basketball player. It was the faster path to the pros. The Pittsburgh Pirates drafted him in the second round in 1972. Then came the negotiation. Pirates officials flew to Puerto Rico to sign him. They brought Roberto Clemente with them. Clemente was the team's biggest star. He was there to translate. The Pirates offered Candelaria $15,000. But Clemente pulled the young man aside. He spoke to him in Spanish. He told him to reject the offer. He said Candelaria was worth much more. Candelaria listened. The Pirates came back with $40,000. Clemente had taught him a lesson. Know your worth. Never let them disrespect you. That lesson would define his career. Candelaria tore through the minor leagues. By 1975, he was in AAA Charleston. He was dominant. He posted a 7-1 record with a 1.77 ERA. The Pirates called him up in June. He made his debut on June 8, 1975. His manager, Danny Murtaugh, was blown away. Murtaugh said Candelaria was going to be heard from for many years. He said he had never seen a pitcher with more talent at his age. Then came the playoffs. In his first postseason game, he started Game 3 of the NLCS against the Cincinnati Reds. He struck out 14 batters in 8 innings. Pete Rose hit a late home run to tie the game, but Candelaria had announced himself to the world. The next year, 1976, he was even better. He went 16-7. On August 9th, the Pirates held Candy Night. They handed out candy bars to the crowd. It was all for him. Candelaria responded by throwing a no-hitter against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The score was 2-0. Then came 1977. It was the best season of his career. He went 20-5. He led the National League with a 2.34 ERA. He pitched over 230 innings. He made the All-Star team. In just 3 years, the kid from Brooklyn had become one of the most dominant left-handed pitchers in baseball. Before we go any further, I need you to do something. Hit that subscribe button. This is the kind of story YouTube doesn't want you to hear. A story about a man who refused to play the game off the field. A man who fought back. And I want to know what you think. Do you remember John Candelaria as a hero or a villain? Drop your answer in the comments below. Let's keep going. By 1979, Candelaria was a key part of baseball history. The We Are Family Pirates. Led by Willie Pop Stargell, this team was beloved. Candelaria posted a solid 14-9 record during the regular season. In the playoffs, he proved himself again. He started Game 1 of the NLCS against the Reds. He battled through a painful shoulder. He pitched 7 innings of 2-run ball. The Pirates won in extra innings. In the World Series against the Baltimore Orioles, things started badly. He struggled in Game 3. He gave up 5 runs in 4 innings. The Pirates lost 8-4. The team fell behind 3-1. They were on the brink of elimination. Manager Chuck Tanner handed the ball to Candelaria for Game 6 in Baltimore. Candelaria was masterful. On the road with the season on the line, he was untouchable. He threw 6 shutout innings. He allowed just 2 runners to reach second base. He was lifted for a pinch hitter in the 7th, but his brilliant effort kept the Pirates alive. They won Game 6, then they won Game 7. They completed a dramatic comeback. They were World Series champions. Candelaria's clutch performance in Game 6 was the key. He was a champion. He was a hero. He delivered when it mattered most. But the euphoria did not last. The We Are Family magic vanished fast. The Pirates began a swift and painful decline. In 1980, the aging team fell apart. Veteran pitchers, including Candelaria, finished with losing records. Candelaria went 11-14. Then came 1981. On May 10th, Candelaria felt something give in his arm. He was pitching in a cold, wet game in St. Louis. The injury was diagnosed as a torn biceps tendon. It destroyed his season. In just 2 years, the Pirates went from World Series favorites to a team expected to finish last. This fall from glory created frustration. It set the stage for the most turbulent period of Candelaria's career. But before we talk about what he did, we need need to talk about what happened to him. On Christmas morning 1984, an unimaginable horror struck his family. His 18-month-old son, John Jr., fell into the family pool in Sarasota, Florida. The boy spent 5 weeks in intensive care. Then he was moved to home care. He needed nursing 24 hours a day. He remained in a coma for 11 months. On November 14, 1985, John Jr. passed away in a Pittsburgh hospital. Throughout the entire 1985 baseball season, Candelaria was living with this. His son was in a coma. His family was shattered. He was carrying a weight few can imagine. This is the context. His actions during this time cannot be separated from the pain of a father watching his child die. The tensions with the Pirates exploded in 1985. The team was struggling. The bullpen was a disaster. Manager Chuck Tanner made a decision. He moved Candelaria from the starting rotation to closer. Candelaria hated it. He saw himself as a starter. He valued the routine. He viewed the move as a demotion. He saw it as disrespect. His response was open rebellion. During batting practice, he would stand on first base. He would sing the lyrics, "Please release me, let me go." He launched a public campaign against general manager Harding Peterson. He repeatedly called Peterson a bozo. He put a "No Bozos" bumper sticker on his locker. It was a constant, visible taunt. The conflict escalated. After the team had to wait for a commercial flight instead of a charter, Candelaria complained to the media. He said the owners treated their racehorses better than their baseball players. The situation grew so toxic that Peterson reportedly challenged Candelaria to a physical fight. But here is what you need to know. Peterson was also grieving. His wife had died unexpectedly. He was in personal turmoil, and Candelaria attacked him anyway. He called him a bozo over and over in public. Was Candelaria a man in pain? Yes. Was he a father drowning in grief? Yes, but he was also selfish. He lashed out at another grieving person. He seized control of his professional life the only way he knew how, by burning it to the ground. He made it impossible for the Pirates to keep him. The relationship was shattered. The Pirates had no choice. They had to trade him. On August 2nd, 1985, the Pittsburgh Pirates cleaned house. They traded 3 veterans to the California Angels: Candelaria, disgruntled outfielder George Hendrick, and pitcher Al Holland. In return, the Pirates received younger players aimed at a rebuild. They got outfielder Mike Brown. They got left-handed reliever Pat Clements. 2 weeks later, the Angels sent another young left-handed pitcher, Bob Kipper, to Pittsburgh. He was the player to be named later. The deal was complete. Candelaria didn't hate those players. Mike Brown, Pat Clements, Bob Kipper, but his actions swapped his veteran presence for their youth. His hate for management forced the trade. A change of scenery saved him. California Angels made him a starter again. The move worked. He was energized. He pitched superbly down the stretch in 1985. He went 7-3. His resurgence continued in 1986. He was magnificent. He went 10-2 with a 2.55 ERA. His performance helped the Angels win the American League West Division title. The Sporting News named him the 1986 American League Comeback Player of the Year. The Candyman had found his form. He had emerged from the darkness. But was he a different man? No. While he was rebuilding his career on the field, something else was happening off it. This would reveal who he really was. The context was Lisa Nihus Saxon. She was a beat writer for the Daily News of Los Angeles. She was one of the first women to cover a Major League Baseball team full-time. She endured relentless abuse. One of her chief antagonists was Reggie Jackson, the Angels superstar, the future Hall of Famer. According to Saxon, Jackson subjected her to a horrific campaign of harassment. He would scream at her. He would call her ugly. He would make crude sexual suggestions. He would refuse to conduct interviews with his pants on. The abuse was severe. The Los Angeles Times published a story detailing Jackson's mistreatment of Saxon. When Saxon rejoined the team on the road, she got a phone call. It was from George Hendrick. Hendrick was Candelaria's close friend. He was the other disgruntled player from the Pirates trade. Hendrick warned Saxon that Jackson was on the warpath. He insisted she come to their room. In that hotel room, the 2 veterans made a promise. "Lisa, from here on in, you're not fighting alone. To get to you, Reggie's gonna have to come through us. We're tired of watching it." Later that night at the ballpark, Jackson came after Saxon. He was furious about the article. He started screaming at her. Candelaria and Hendrick intervened immediately. The 2 tall, intimidating figures stepped between Jackson and Saxon. They formed a human shield. They repeated their promise. "To get to her, you're gonna have to go through us." Jackson was incensed. He punched a wall with his fist. He injured his hand. It impacted his performance in the playoffs that year. Confronting a teammate of Jackson's stature was a serious breach of the clubhouse code. It carried significant risk, but Candelaria and Hendrick took that risk anyway. So here's the question. Was Candelaria a hero? Or was he just Candelaria, a man who loved to fight, combustible personality, a hothead who happened to be on the right side this time? He fought management in Pittsburgh when he felt disrespected. Now he fought a superstar teammate when he saw injustice. Was it principle? Or was it just his nature? To burn bridges, to pick fights, to never back down. After the Angels, Candelaria became a journeyman. In September 1987, the Angels traded him to the New York Mets. He signed with the New York Yankees, the team he grew up rooting for in Brooklyn. He pitched in the Bronx for 1988 and 1989. He continued with stops in Montreal, Minnesota, and Toronto. He finished with the Los Angeles Dodgers from 1991 to 1992. This period highlighted his longevity. Teams still valued his veteran arm. Then came the final act. In December 1992, Candelaria signed a contract. He was returning to the Pittsburgh Pirates for the 1993 season. He was back in the city where he became a star, where he won a World Series. His last appearance in a Major League game came on July 7, 1993. He was wearing the same Pirates uniform he first put on 18 years earlier, but his return was not to a powerhouse. The 1993 season marked the beginning of 20 consecutive losing seasons, an infamous record in North American professional sports. Candelaria became the only member of the 1979 World Series championship team to also play for the Pirates during their descent into futility. His final season made him the living link between two eras. For fans who remembered the We Are Family celebrations of 1979, seeing the Candyman on the mound in 1993 was bittersweet. He was the ghost of past glory. He was the grim reality of the present. He was a constant reminder of what the team once was, and the vast chasm between that triumphant past and the long, painful decline. So what is the legacy of John Candelaria? It is complicated. He won 177 games. He posted a 3.33 ERA. He played for 19 seasons. But his story is more than statistics. It includes the bitter Bozo feud in Pittsburgh, the profound grief that fueled it, the unwavering principle he showed defending Lisa Nihu Saxon. He was a man of immense talent and immense complexity. His career is a reminder of how personal tragedy can alter a professional trajectory. The combustible figure who forced his way out of Pittsburgh was carrying the weight of a dying child. But he was also selfish. He attacked a fellow grieving person. Yet his story is also inspiring. The same defiance that made him a royal pain made him a protector. John Candelaria was an all-star, a no-hit artist, a World Series champion. He was also a grieving father, a fierce antagonist, quiet hero. He was never simple. He was often difficult, but he was real. The Candyman's career, with all its peaks and valleys, was a mystery lived to its fullest. It left behind a story far richer than any box score could capture. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of baseball's most complicated figures, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, was John Candelaria a hero who stood up for what was right? Or was he a hothead who just happened to pick the right fights? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.